The Women's Business Center of Richmond would like you to join us for our weekly Winning with WOW radio broadcast, hosted by yours truly, DrDanni, on ESPN Richmond 106.1 FM. Each segment features a woman boss who shares aspects of her entrepreneurial journey, designed to enlighten, uplift, and inspire. If you have business ownership aspirations, let us help. We can be reached at the WBC Richmond on our socials or thewbcrichmond.org, or you can call us at 804-525-9499.
So good morning, and thank you for being with us, Dr. Omega Wilson.
Well, thank you for having me.
We're glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
Our viewers and our listeners have an opportunity on a weekly basis to join the WOW broadcast, where we have an opportunity to talk to boss ladies.
Hey, I'll take it.
We have an opportunity to expand our horizons, learn from, the challenges that you've had and overcome, to celebrate your success in all that you do. I mean, you've authored a number of books, you lead a lot of leadership efforts, consulting and things of the nature. So today, sometimes people ask me, why do you wear a stethoscope? Well, I'm not a medical doctor, but I play one on this show.
I love it. I love that.
And we just really want to kind of, examine and dissect a lot of things that have gone through in your journey in this short 27-minute segment, and get a feel for how people can apply those things. So one of the first questions that I like for you to address to the audience is, if they only have a short period of time that they can take in everything that you're going to offer them today, what would you want them to walk away as it relates to your entrepreneurial journey?
I think thank you again. And I think one of the major takeaways that I can share on my journey is just trust the process. You very well may not understand what you're doing sometimes. And I'm not going to say it's lonely, because you should not be lonely at the top. That's a little John Maxwell plug right there. If you're lonely at the top, you're doing it wrong. So let me back up and say, what you need to do first and foremost is to have a mentor, a coach, someone who's going to guide you through this thing. Because being an entrepreneur, everyone likes to have that fancy term that I'm an entrepreneur, I got my own business, but it's not that easy. It's easier to say it than to actually walk in it, but you need somebody who's willing to hold your hand, walk beside you, walk in front of you, walk behind you, someone who has a proven track record of success, who's willing to really guide you and care for you and, really be concerned about your well-being and your success. First thing you need to do, make sure that you're finding that person. And then, of course, trust the process with it. Like I said, you're not going to understand it. I didn't understand and still don't understand a lot of things that I'm doing. And I questioned some things early on with my coach. But of course, or my coach is, I should say, because I got quite a few and need quite a few people to hold me down, with this thing. But yeah, those are the first two things I would say.
So, I love that, because what you're saying is, being an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you have to be the only one at your table.
Oh, no.
In fact, you're suggesting that it's best to identify those additional resources that's going to help you have some longevity, some sustainability, some resiliency in your quest to be a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I like that you said you don't have to be the only one at the table. You should not be the only one at the table. And also, you should not ever, 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 ever want to be the smartest person at the table or in the room. And a lot of people find that to be, something that they want. They want to be the smartest person, but when you're the smartest person, you can't grow. You can't learn. You can't stretch yourself a little bit more. I don't want to ever be the smartest person in the room. So you want to bring as many people to the table with a proven track record, of course, of success. You want to bring as many people to the table that you can, who can help you. Don't try to figure it out by yourself. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. I just had this conversation with someone the other day who is getting into consulting. And I'm like, look, watch what I'm doing, do it better. That's all. Watch what I'm doing and do it better. You don't have to try to reinvent the wheel.
Well, it sounds like there's a common thread to whom much is given.
Oh, yeah.
So it sounds like you're pouring back into others what has been poured into you. And that's always, I think, a recipe for success. When you shine the light on others, the light can't help but come back on you. Tell us a little bit about Omega Wilson. how did we come to be a boss lady?
I think I came to be a boss lady. I know I came to be a boss lady because my parents and my sisters.
Mhm.
Those four people have been my role models for all of my life. You know, a lot of people, no disrespect to anyone, but a lot of people want to be like Mike and LeBron and Oprah and Beyonce. I wanted to always be like my parents and my sisters. Because at the end of the day, I didn't know what was going on in these other people's homes when they were at home, but I knew what was going on in my house. So for my parents and my sisters to be able to talk that talk and walk that walk at the same time, that helped me a lot. But my parents and my sisters always instilled in me, I'm the baby of the family, so I'm kind of the spoiled side, get everything out. No, I'm just kidding. But I am the baby of the family, so, you know, they poured into me a lot and still pour into me a lot. A lot of times I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I go to them for guidance. I'm working on a project now. Actually, I'm working on a project and we have a family chat and I'm getting ready to dump it all in there before I take it to my business team because they'll be like, what in the world? You know, but it's good to have a support system like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I have to say my family, I'm where I am because of my family and the support and love that they give me.
Wow.
Constantly.
That resonates with me
Mm-hmm.
because that's, to me, it should be your first support system.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it had some longevity in your life and in your business, it speaks volumes to what it says that, you know, train up a child in the way that it should go.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, shout out to all family members who are supportive of this fabulous lady, as well as, you know, those of you who may be thinking about your business. So you know, great counsel is always important to have. And then, and it grows from there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a seed that is sown and planted. So what about your business in general? Talk to me about the clients you serve and the services that you offer.
Yeah, so we're multifaceted with Innovative Strategies Consulting. I usually say that we're educational consulting business as well as leadership development. So with one aspect of our business, with educational consulting, I work with school divisions throughout the country, superintendents, principals, to help them take their schools to the next level. In addition to that, I work with clients throughout the world. I have prayed and thank God. God answered my prayer last year, and I told him I wanted our business to go international. So I have clients in Nigeria, Turks and Caicos, Bahamas, Brazil. I think those are all our places right now. But also in the United States, of course, where I work one-to-one with these aspiring administrators who want to go to the next level. They want to become administrators, or current administrators who want to move up in senior leadership. So for the most part, that's educational consulting and doing different speaking engagements, a lot of professional development with school divisions. I don't know if you know, but I was a principal, middle school principal, high school principal, director of high school. So I've got like I said, a proven track record, somebody who has a proven track record, who knows what they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
Then the other side, which a lot of people don't know about, is we do a lot of leadership development with leadership teams for churches and schools, but also with businesses, corporations, organizations, fraternities, sororities, a lot of different people where we assess the team. Basically, I don't want to say the strengths and weaknesses, but we really dig in, take a deep dive to see what the needs of the team are, and then we just take them to the next level.
Wow.
Yeah, we call ourselves life changers.
So how long have you been driving this ship? Because I'm sure that in your you know, your day job, your previous day job, you saw a lot of those deficiencies and opportunities and unmet needs. And so you probably did it a lot, probably for free before you said, this is a business. How long have you been with your innovative leadership strategy?
It is crazy that you asked that question because I started Innovative Strategy in 2014. And you know how people say, the Lord woke me up in the middle of the night and told me, the Lord woke me up in the middle of the night and told me, start this business. And I'm like, wait a minute. You know, so basically me and a few teachers started talking, administrators. I'm like, we do this work all the time. We need to get paid for it. You know, and then we started doing, like you said, a few free things. Here's a tip for entrepreneurs. You're going to have to do some free things sometimes, many times. Don't forget, you reap what you sow, and you always reap more than what you sow.
That's right.
You ready to shout?
I'm ready to shout. Because people don't understand it. That's why you need to sow well. Because you're always going to reap more than you sow.
You're going to always reap more. I don't care whether it's bad or good. You're going to reap what you sow. So if I have to make a suggestion, sow the socks off of some good stuff. I'm telling you, because it's coming back to you. So I sowed for years, and I'm still sowing. Sowed for years, and I didn't see a good return. And I'm like, oh my God, I knew not to quit, because I'm not a quitter. I never quit anything, in life. So I knew that, God gave me this vision, and he told me what to do. And I think it was like the year before the pandemic. I halfway know what year it is right now, so I always have to
I know it's like we have stopped it.
Where
are we now?
What year is it? It's pandemic year. I don't know. What 2022?
Right. It started all over. Like ADBC, we done started another whole regime. But I want to press pause right there, because I think in that element of what you were saying is that he gave it to you, so you knew it wasn't going to return void.
Oh yeah.
So it sounds as though not only you're a person of faith, but that you walk the talk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that I had done the work, and it wasn't a mistake. I hear God. It was not a mistake. My dad's a pastor and been in church all my life, so I know the voice of the Lord. I'm not a prophet or anything, but I know the voice of the Lord. So I knew that he told me this, and yes, sometimes you're going to get weary, but don't get weary in well doing. You're going to reap. I'm telling you, you're going to reap if you just got to, put your foot to the gas and just keep going. You have to keep going with it. So I knew not to quit, but I'm like, what direction am I going in? Then my coach put me in one direction. She got so mad at me because, just because I'm me, I went in another direction. I veered off. And she told me, she said, if you're going to keep veering, I'm not going to work with you anymore.
Oh, wow. So she held you accountable.
Oh, she holds me accountable today. And here's the beautiful part about it. Here's the beautiful part about leadership and being an entrepreneur. You got to build strong relationships with people. Two of my coaches are my former students at Hermitage High School.
Awesome.
Two of my half my age, of course. My former students.
We all need millennials and Gen X's and Y's and Z's in our life.
Ma'am. They keep me going. And they'll snap on me in a heartbeat, but it's in all good faith.
Right.
Because they see something in me, and they saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And Dorian Green, I'll shout her out.
Shout out. Shout out to the Greens everywhere.
Shout out to the Greens and Winston. But Dorian Green and Manny Winston, and Candace Winston, his wife, they will snap on me in a second because they know what's in me. And sometimes I don't see it in myself. I'm like, oh, you think so? And Dorian, she was quick to say, do you not understand who you are and what you can do? What are you saying? So when I came in the game, I didn't understand it.
Okay.
But I listened. And that's important. You have to listen to people. When somebody taps you, somebody can tap you and say it, but if you can have a sense when people are really on it. If somebody taps you and says, this is what you're supposed to be doing, go ye.
So let me understand though, did you have the inspiration even after you had the support of your family and they were a sounding board, they were an advisory council, to go directly from them and secure the right type of mentorship or support? Did you have an incident that said, hey, wait a minute, I need to get...
No, my journey, my whole career, my journey is so not like the average person. I hope I have time to tell this story. I went to Virginia Union. My mom is a retired educator. My dad is a retired
shout out
professor.
to Virginia Union.
Shout out to VUU.
The Virginia Union, the Women's Business Center, Richmond, is located on the campus of Virginia Union.
Yes, VUU, Panther Proud. But the whole time, my dad's retired professor and pastor. So the whole time I was at Virginia Union, my mom told me, take some education courses. Shout out to my mom. Take some education courses. Well, know it all. I said, I ain't teaching them kids. I ain't teaching bad kids, because when I went home for Thanksgiving and Christmas, I substituted.
Okay.
And I'm like, it's not going down like this. So I didn't know what I was going to do when I graduated. Long story short, I had to move back home, eat some humble pie. I became a secretary at a warehouse for like 2 years. Talking about humble pie, you got to put your pride in your pocket. Okay, so I learned early to do that. And I was living at home with a degree, a bachelor's degree, moved back home to my parents' house, where they cracked the whip. And when they were, I'm used to staying up till I want to, staying out.
And they said, no, you disturbing my rest. This house shut down
at midnight. You guys stay here. You're coming home at midnight, 2, 3, 4 on work over here, not on Walking Street. I'm like, okay, so I am staying here for free, so let me buy. But a family friend came to my mom, and she was like, "You think Omega wants to be a board substitute?" And I was like, "For special ed? What you mean?" So ended up getting a triple endorsement in special ed.
Awesome.
It's crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy because I can't even remember her name, Deborah White. Deborah White, thank you. Thank you, Deborah White, wherever in the world you are. She started my whole educational journey.
I love that.
Because I was a board sub.
Okay.
So I don't want to hear people talk about how bad the kids are, how challenging it is, because I had grade 6, 7, and 8 in one classroom.
Oh.
LD, ED, MR back in the day, 15 kids with no aid, tried by fire. And I'm proud of that.
Whoa.
I'm proud of that. That's where my foundation was laid. I didn't whine about it. I didn't cry about it. I had a mentor called Mom who told me, this is the way you write lesson plans. Use Madeline Hunter. This is that.
Okay.
My mom.
Okay.
Mom
she was an educator?
Yeah, she's a retired reading teacher.
Okay, so you had something to pull from, but that's but still, I'm sure it could be very intimidating being in that kind of environment. Yeah. But little did you know that your path was ordered.
I didn't know where my path was going. I have just been trusting God the entire time. And I'm not saying that to be deep. I'm not saying that to be deep at all. But I started teaching from Goochland to Caroline to Hermitage High School in Henrico. Somebody in the copy room told me, one of my sorority sisters, shout out to Pearl Clark, she said, I think you should go into administration. And I'm like, I don't think I want to do that. I don't want to be an administrator. And she's like, go on to school. We got you. Long story short. Then somebody else said, I think you should apply for that assistant principal position. I think you should apply for the middle school principalship. I think you should go back home to Hermitage High School and be a principal. And I was kind of like voluntold to become director of high schools for Henrico County because of the work that we did, the work that we did at Hermitage High School. And then former superintendent knocked on the door and he's like, I need you to come work for me, take an early retirement and be my vice president of operations for a dropout recovery program.
Wow.
And so, I'm like, this gotta be a joke.
So the thing that I think that keeps running through there is that those individuals who are pricked that you need to speak into someone's life, just know that in that obedience, you have an opportunity to present someone like this, to pour in. Because sometimes you know how it is that something might, a little whisper here, and you say, well, I don't want them to think I'm getting in their business.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter, if God has put it in you, you might just be confirming what was already going on.
Yes, ma'am. In your obedience, because that's in your soul. I believe that's the scripture. You have to be obedient and you have to just walk in it. Had I not been obedient to all those people who pushed me, I don't know where I would still be working. Well, my parents wouldn't have had that, but I don't know. Maybe I would have been a high-tech secretary. Now, shout out to the secretaries because buildings can't run without you.
That's right. And they're the key to the people that
you need to talk to. Let them not come to work tomorrow. Let's see how you get along. Okay. So shout out to them. But yeah, you have to be obedient. And sometimes you just have to listen, remove the big head, put your pride in your pocket, and just lean on your trusted agents. Lean on the people who are there to support you, who see something different in you that you don't see in yourself. I'm gonna tell you, I made the announcement to Hermitage High School to my administrative team after I got my doctorate. I'm like, I just want y'all to come close and let you know where my next move is. I'm not leaving here, but here's my dream job. It's my time for me to just do what I want to do. On my bucket list, I'm gonna be a mortician. I'm going in the mortuary.
Wait a minute. Wait. So, okay, I'm waiting for you to say, I didn't see that one coming.
I'm telling you, that's still my dream job today. That's a whole nother conversation. Somebody asked me the other day, said, you need to talk to somebody because something I write about. I'm fascinated with it. I don't know. Shout out to Brian Wilson with Wilson and Associates. He's waiting on me here in Richmond, Virginia. He has 2 funeral homes. He's waiting on me so we can be Wilson and Wilson Associates. I'm speaking it into the atmosphere for the world to pray with us.
Well, just so that you know, the last show that we just did last Wednesday when it came on ESPN Radio 106.1, we were talking to a funeral director and owner of Bland Funeral Homes. Yeah. So we were talking to Nakia Bland.
I don't know.
Nakia, it's in Petersburg.
I'm sure all of that is connected.
It's probably because their family. Yeah, they also have a Bland florist. So their family, they're a family of entrepreneurs. But her father started that funeral home, I want to say 70 years ago.
Wow.
And many of the independent funeral homes in the area, all the way to Virginia Beach, came out of him.
Right.
Like he started helping people.
I've heard the story.
Yes, yes, yes. But anyway, we talked to her last week, and then you're talking about this. So maybe you need to.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list. I'm gonna do it before I close my eyes. But here's a tip out of that. It's crazy how that happened. I'm like my dad, the youngest child, and I used to hang out with my dad's little boy. My dad didn't have any boys, 3 girls, me and my 2 sisters. So I used to hang out with my dad because he's a pastor at the funeral home.
Okay.
Here's a tip. I'm going somewhere with influence. So my dad didn't know what he was doing, and he knows that my whole family knows I'm just fascinated with the whole death process and everything. But my dad was over here talking to the mortician in this room. Little Omega is in that room playing with the dead bodies.
Okay.
You know?
Oh Lord. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But it was influence, you know.
You had exposure. And so
they didn't even know. They used to get so mad. They were like, Sam, you can't bring her down here no more. She got to keep on messing with the folks. She got to be, because they used to have to come back behind me. I'm messing with wigs and moving people's hands and, you know, unbuttoning their clothes and, doing a little mischief. I was a little mischievous.
Yeah, well.
That's Omega. If you want to know about Omega, I've come a long way.
Well,
I wasn't born Dr. Wilson.
Okay.
No,
but that's what this show is designed to get to.
Now, that's a book.
So when are we going to write that book?
We need to. I mean, you know, and I say that as a joke, but not jokingly, because a lot of people think that, you know, I had all of this stuff planned out. None of it. Not one bit of my career was planned out. I never knew I was going in education, administration, leadership, nor being an entrepreneur. That was nowhere on my list of things to do ever. And when I graduated from Virginia Union, here I am, smarty pants, know-it-all, didn't listen to my parents when they told me to take education courses. I automatically thought I was going to be an anchor woman. I didn't take any. I'm here. Thank you. I'm here to tell you. But I didn't take any journalism courses.
No communication.
Nothing. And I just thought like 6, 8, and 12, CNN, CBS, ABC.
They gonna come look.
They just gonna look for me. Where's Omega? We here. She go to Union. We want her. You know, I don't even know where. I just wasn't playing on full deck. But I mean, you have to. I grew into myself. I was a late bloomer. You know, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I went to college. I didn't have it on my bucket list to go get my master's and then my doctorate. I didn't even know why I got my doctorate when I got it.
So I have to call this out because you're speaking into my life right now, and that is I have a son. I have 3 sons and a daughter, but my baby boy says that he's like, first, you know, he wants to do something in business and finance and stuff, but he keeps saying, Mom, I don't know that I want to do this thing in college, because if I'm able to, you know, do what I want to do, why should I continue to have debt? Well, first of all, you don't have debt. You're on a basketball scholarship. But, you know, there are a lot of young people out here who they don't feel like they have it figured out. And what you're saying is you don't have to have it all figured out, but you do have to listen. You have to be willing to explore, and you have to be obedient to the things that when it's brought to you and it resonates with you, then you want to respond to that.
Yeah, you want to respond. Listen, and I say this a lot to young people because I have a lot of younger clients who feel that they're behind the 8 ball and they feel that they're so far behind. You don't have to have it figured out. I'm 54 years old and I figured it out a few years ago, not 10 years ago, not even 5 years ago. I hadn't figured it out. I'm really starting to get into, I got this now, Lord. I got where you're taking me. I understand it now. Whoever's listening, I don't care if you're under the age of 54, you're doing, if you're 54, if you're 74, I don't care how old you are, you're doing great. As long as you can just be still. Let me say that one more time. I feel like Shana Na. As long as you can be still and just listen, you just have to listen and figure out what it is that you want to do. My sister told me this, Jamantha told me this, the year I started my business. She didn't even know what she was speaking. She said, that thing that you can do in your sleep, the thing that comes natural and easy for you to do, that's what God sent you here to do.
Yeah,
I didn't know what that meant when she said it.
But you know what? That's resonating again. Just a whole bunch of pearls of wisdom. I hope you guys are capturing it, taking a note. We're going to get a moment to find out how you can get in contact with Dr. Wilson. But I will tell you that the be still part, we had a guest named Yetta Stansel. Shout out to Yetta. Yeah. She has a podcast, but she also wrote a book. And her book was Shut Up and Sit.
Shut up and sit.
And
my business team just said, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No.
This is so, like I said, I'm not trying to be deep with anybody or spiritual or get
Don't make excuses for what God.
I'm not gonna make excuses.
Just share.
I'm not gonna make excuses.
You better share. As my sisters always say.
Yeah, Harvey Stone, one of my project leaders. We just met, me, him, and Teresa. We met last week. And he said, my new thing right now, Omega, just sit in it for a while. He said, just sit in it. Sit right there. Sit in it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That hit me when you said that.
Yeah. Well, not by accident or coincidence.
Yeah.
but she, she said she had gotten to a place in her life, and I won't tell her whole story, but it is out on our YouTube channel. But she talked about that, and she went to a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted the coach to solve all of her problems. She said, no. You aren't going to come here and tell me how to do my job.
Yeah.
Shut up and sit.
Mm-hmm.
And she said every time she had a session with her coach, she was having to sit. But she was having to sit with the magnitude of everything that was going on around her that she had gotten lost in so that she could find her way to the light.
Look, that was powerful.
Yes.
And it's a major difference. Let me add this in here so no one gets comfortable with that phrase. It's a major difference in sitting in it and wallowing in it.
Because if you sit, you're erect.
Yes.
When you're wallowing, you are all laid out.
Pity party.
That's right.
What would it mean?
Your head is still up when you sit. You can look up while you sit.
Look up while you're sitting.
Let me stop.
No, keep going. Seriously. I mean, you can sit up and you can move forward. There's hope. Don't wallow in it. Even if you've been an entrepreneur and your business is not where you want it to be, keep going. But the most important thing that I can say is make sure you connect with someone who's willing to pour those positive affirmations into, that's a fancy word that we use now.
Mm-hmm.
We just been talking about speaking over ourselves since Donna Lawrence before AD, we've been talking about that for years.
Encouraging yourself.
Donna Lawrence told us years ago, speak over yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents, your grandparents been saying, now we say their affirmations. So you say your affirmations daily. When I run my cohort, that's what I tell my all of my clients anyway. You're coming with me, you're going to speak over yourself. No negativity. And speak it in the future. Today, I am so grateful, thankful, and appreciative that whatever it is that you're wanting for your business, speak it.
That's right.
And believe it and walk it. It's going to manifest.
There's power in that word. And that's the interesting thing too. And I just want to bring it back so that our viewers and our listeners can grasp that concept. When you're telling the truth about something bad that has happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're looking forward, you have no reason not to look towards what's going to be positive. We should not be forecasting, broadcasting, or prognosticating on negativity in our future.
That's right.
There's no reason. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So let's speak life to that situation.
And I don't remember what the percentage is that people say, 10% of the things 90% of the things that you think about aren't even going to happen anyway. While you're thinking, I wonder if this woulda, coulda, shoulda, might happen. Think that the glass is never going to be half empty for me. It's never going to be half empty. It's not even going to be half full. That bad boy is full, man.
So how do people get in contact with you? Let's say that there's someone who wants an individual coaching opportunity, or maybe there is a leadership team who recognize that they have talent on their team, but maybe their talent needs to be cultivated so that it can be more successful than not.
Yeah.
How do people reach out to you?
So I'm gonna give you all most forms of contact. My number is 804-218-1410. Again, that's 804-218-1410. If you prefer to email me, it is Omega, OMEGA, and that's how I stop. I'm like, wait a minute. OMEGA at ISCLLC.consulting, like Innovative Strategies Consulting. Omega at ISCLLC.consulting. I'm on all social media, most social media platforms, on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram as Dr. Omega Wilson, and on Facebook as Omega Wilson. I'm willing to work with you one-on-one. I'm willing to, I'm going after 100 educators this year. I'm gonna help you get the promotion. Last year, we helped 53 people get promoted. 53 people last year. We already got one down. I got 3 people on deck. Look, 3 people on deck who are getting ready to be promoted within the next 7 days. I'm going after 100 people.
That's
So if you're
awesome.
in education and you're trying to get promoted, I don't care what the promotion is. I don't care what the promotion is. It may be in janitorial services, it may be in food services. But if you're needing to get the promotion, and it can be anywhere, it doesn't have to just be in education. But your leadership teams, your pastors, I'm working with like 5 pastors who came together and said, we want you to merge our churches together and work with our leadership teams, corporations, businesses, and also I have a book, if I may share.
Please.
3 actually, but the Lead by Example Journal, which I published last year, it says a 90-day journal for leaders, but it's a 90-day journal for anyone who's breathing. And the reason I say it like that is because it's an assessment. It gives you an opportunity to assess yourself as a person and then as a leader. So each day has a daily affirmation, a daily focus, a daily question, leadership quote, and then it has a self pages where you can assess yourself, 30, 60, 90-day goals pages, to-do list, all of that. But it's an opportunity for you to assess yourself. Bulk rate for 50 or more, just shipped 100 overseas. But yeah, inbox me, call me, whichever, email me, and I would love to work with you.
Mike King Biz here with On the Mic with Mike, the best business radio program around. I'm here with my good friend DrDanni of the world famous Women's Business Resource Center. We hear you guys have something exciting coming up.
Well, most definitely. I'm glad that you asked us about it. We have our inaugural Winning with Women Entrepreneurs Conference that's coming up April 27th and 28th at the Greater Richmond Convention Center.
For additional information, visit winningwithwomenconference.org.